Hey, John Philo's gonna be up next. Sugar Law Center, serving the community in a big way. John.
What the hell? How can I match that?
You don't have to.
I'm after Marion? I want to go and tip over a cop car. I want to occupy a building. I'm going to talk right now. Is the last thing I think I can accomplish to match what just occurred. I agree with them 100%. I guess I'm going to take it down a notch. It's just my style, and unfortunately, for better or worse. I agree entirely with everything each speaker said. This is not, we've been put into this false, silly, moronic narrative that this is about corruption and incompetence in our local government. There's not a single fool out there, even the people saying it, who don't know that that's a lie. That's a bald-faced lie. They know it, but they're counting on people to be passive. They're counting on people to sit back and accept, it's your nightly news. Shut off your brain, go to sleep, pretend you're informed at some level. We have to realize there's allies everywhere. We won that petition vote with Northern Michigan voters and urban voters. These are people in both places that have been kicked around plenty. And they have intuitive understanding of when they're being jobbed. And they knew it. They knew it. It wasn't a media campaign that convinced them of it. There wasn't the money for that. It was people talking to people and getting over the differences that the media tries to throw between us every time we wake up in the morning. Every single person in this room and your friends work and live in realms where they have tools available to try and change this. Our institutions have utterly failed us. We have to accept that. And we're not going to be saved by any institutions. There's individuals within institutions that can work. There's some great, Reverend Ross, Reverend Bill Wiley-Kellerman, and others, and I'm sure there's others in this room who are doing great work. But religion is an institution. The churches I go, they're not talking about what matters. And that's why these people stop going. Our unions, who I'm all for, have failed us. Institution. The media, there's great media people in this room, but the media has collapsed. It's gone. Our educational institutions, particularly our universities, as public spokesperson, talking about what's right, what's true, they're absent. They're absent without leave. We have to change this from below, and that's what I think we're all trying to do, and that's what I try to do with the law. There's probably only about 20 attorneys working on emergency manager, and none of them come from an office with more than 2 or 3 attorneys. Your legal institutions are gone, and this stupid nonsense you hear about getting more attorneys to do pro bono work, that's to get a large firm that ripped you off last week to give somebody a couple hours of time to help you with something that doesn't threaten their system at all. There is no question that the emergency manager law is about race. We can dance around it, in the white world, we all like to talk polite and, not say this in these institutional, nobody wants to admit they're big. Nobody. And they should. Yeah. The challenge for us is to force the bigots to expose themselves. Is to force it on them. Is to say, this is racist. Lila was saying, I think it's 7 towns with emergency managers, all predominantly black. The only one that isn't is Allen Park, and they have a real unusual, and they have a real different situation that I'm not going to go into, but you can, asking for it, and also the reason they collapsed. But that's out of 11 out of 12 predominantly black communities who were rated in the worst, the most financial trouble, got an emergency manager or a consent judgment. Of something like 15 white communities that had those scores or worse, none of them got it. Not one. Not one. That's with schools. That's stark. That's grotesque. That's something someone has to answer for. Man, it is. And that's what we're trying to change, right? We look at this lawsuit as an opportunity to force the court to say either that's wrong or we're so damn hypocritical that we're going to say it's okay. And I think the majority of people north in the urban areas would like to know that. If they're going to say, put a stamp of government, that's good, that's the way it should be, then let's have a vote on that the next elections of whether that's right or wrong. Because I think all these things are hidden from the average person. They're forced not to confront it. Or they're made, the structures of society are such that they don't have to confront it. There's no question this is about the banks. Every fool in this country knows that the municipalities are funded by property taxes, income taxes, and revenue sharing from the state. The state balanced its budget by cutting revenue sharing to municipalities. The banks absolutely pillaged these communities for the past 20 years, and it all came to hit the wall in 2008. And the income taxes, particularly for Detroit, you're running about 35 to 50% unemployment. It is no surprise to anybody that the revenues are not there. And to try and blame these communities for the problems is freaking criminal. And that's what's going on. I think the goal of our lawsuit, it's tough because we have to translate it into legal language. What the lawsuit is about is to force the court to recognize that if there's going to be a government, federal, state, local, if there is going to be one, and a government is somebody who passes laws. Laws are just rules backed up by the force of the state, backed up by a gun, the police, right? If there is going to be that government, it has got to be a government that is elected and representative of the people. Otherwise, it's illegitimate and needs to go. I think there are some of you wondering what's going on with these lawsuits, and particularly our lawsuit, so I'll get that. I'll tell you that. The bankruptcy court has put a stay over cases where the governor and the treasurer are involved. Now, I swear a lot. I'm trying not to up here. Every bankruptcy in this country, the debtor, the city of Detroit, and its property get the stay. And you can go and try and lift that stay. The bankruptcy court has given it to the governor and Snyder. Yep. Snyder and Dillon. Yeah, thank you. They are not the debtor. They got no property. They were going after. What the heck is that about? Well, that's about protecting banks. And it's protecting the rate of this city's assets and transferring wealth from the poorest to the wealthiest and protecting it. Right now, we're fighting that through the court system. Lawsuits are brought for different reasons. One, you try to win. You think you can win. Two, they're political. Okay? You're trying to make a statement. I do view our lawsuit as a combination of both. I think we can win, and we will win.